Amidst the noise of life, sometimes silence is the greatest gift. Silence is not just the absence of speech. It's the power of remaining quiet at the right time and in the right place. It is the key to inner strength, mental clarity, and psychological peace. Silence is an opportunity to better understand those around you. It's not only a sign of respect for others, but also for yourself. It's the path to emotional control and self-awareness. A beautiful silence is more valuable than anything else. Listening to others, making space for yourself, clearing your thoughts, all of this becomes possible in silence. It's no coincidence that Stoic philosophers placed great importance on the power of silence. Because silence, while beneficial, is also a form of inner strength. So what else does silence mean? Watch the video until the end to discover why silence might be our strongest weapon and how it can benefit you. Sometimes the strongest reaction is no reaction at all, because silence is not the choice of cowards, but of those who trust themselves. Speaking is often instinctive. Someone hurts us, and we immediately want to respond. But staying silent, that's a conscious decision. It's a sign of control, maturity, and inner power. Silence doesn't make you appear weak. On the contrary, it makes you seem mysterious, deep, and wise. When people can't figure out what you're thinking, they start to value you more. Because a silent person is an observant one. They don't talk, but they see. They listen, understand, and act at the right moment. You may see people around you who talk a lot. They react to everything and leave no word unanswered. But what happens in the end? Their energy drains, their thoughts scatter, and their respect diminishes. Because as noise increases, value decreases. True strength is being able to silence yourself even in moments of anger. That silence doesn't come from fear, it comes from self-control. It's the mindset of I have an answer, but is it worth giving? This is the kind of silence that elevates you, because now you've chosen to respond not with words but with action. Staying silent isn't something everyone can do, but the more you master it, the more you refine your inner strength. And one day, everyone will understand just how powerful your silence truly is. A silent person is composed. They are not led by events, they lead themselves. Because they know emotions are temporary, but the consequences of decisions are lasting. They know that silence is not emptiness. It's the quiet victory of a great internal battle. Remember, raise your level, not your voice. Because as your level rises, your silence speaks louder. Words knock on the door, but silence walks in. So next time someone tries to provoke you, just pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and stay silent. Because in that moment, choosing silence is declaring yourself the victor. Silence is also the key to mental clarity. It separates you from the noise and allows you to hear your inner voice. Because in reality, the most important voice isn't others, it's your own. But to hear that voice, the world must go quiet first. Phones, notifications, noise, people's opinions. Let them all pause for a moment. And in that moment, it's as if time slows down. Even if time doesn't stop, you do. You reflect. You become clear. When your mind is tired, you don't need rest, you need silence. Because silence is the force that repairs the mind. It brings you closer to the answers you lost inside. It separates tangled thoughts and shines a light on the truth. True decisions, real goals, and the answer to what do I really want? They are born in silence. Think for a moment. The greatest discoveries, the brightest ideas, the most serious decisions, all emerged in silence. No one has ever made a life-changing decision in a noisy room. Because it's only in silence that you can see your true self and your real desires. Silence is a bridge to connect with your inner world. It brings you back to yourself. It creates the space to find within what you've been searching for outside. And you realize that in noise, you only hear others. But in silence, you discover yourself. If your life feels chaotic, retreat into silence. If you don't know which path to choose, retreat into silence. If you feel lost, retreat into silence. Because silence is the mirror of the mind. And when that mirror is clean, you can see yourself more clearly. When your mind is cleansed by silence, Your decisions become sharper. You begin to understand what you no longer want. You know to whom you should say no and to whom you should say yes. And that clarity brings inner confidence. Silence is not just quiet, it is inner order. It pulls you out of the chaos of the world and helps you focus your thoughts. It slows you down. And in that very slowness, you gain speed. Another power of silence is that it symbolizes emotional control. Saying everything you think is not strength. Real strength is being able to manage your emotions without expressing them. Remaining silent when anger reaches your throat. Holding your ground without tears when you're hurt. Choosing to breathe instead of speak when treated unfairly. That is not weakness, it is iron will. Because a person is not defined by what happens to them, but by how they respond. Your reaction reflects your level. Your patience reflects your greatness. Silence is the most subtle, most disciplined, and most powerful form of reaction. You don't shout, you don't explain, you don't even demand your rights. And yet you still win. Because you have become someone who controls their inner world. Someone who silences the noise of the world, but hears their own voice clearly within. Emotional control means mastering not everything but yourself. And the first step to that mastery is silence. There will be people who insult you, who try to anger or belittle you. But as long as you don't respond, their power doesn't reach you. They will speak, and you will grow. They will wait for a reaction, and you will stay silent. And that silence becomes your shield. This is the power of silence. It protects you from the emotions exploding inside. It keeps you away from harmful words and reactions you may regret later. Because silence slows down time. And when time slows down, wisdom takes the lead. A moment of silence may prevent a lifetime of regret. This is why the Stoics used silence as a shield during emotional storms. They understood that one must trust not in the noise of anger, but in the calm of silence. Because anger is temporary, but the damage it causes can last a long time. Silence, on the other hand, is a healing medicine for both your soul and the soul of the person before you. If you ever feel like you're about to lose control, stay silent. If you are wronged and feel like screaming, stay silent. Because in that silence you become stronger. In that silence you come to know yourself. And in that silence you transform into a higher version of who you are. Another valuable benefit of silence is that it enhances your ability to listen. Want to speak? Wait a little. Because sometimes listening to a thought completely before saying a single sentence can have a much greater impact. Silence gives you that opportunity. It prevents you from speaking in haste and stops you to listen. The most valuable people are not only those who speak wisely, but those who know how to listen quietly. Because listening is not a passive act. On the contrary, it is an inner activity. Listening means entering someone else's world with respect. It's putting your ego aside and making space for the words of another. And only silence can teach you this. The more silent you become, the more you see. You become more attentive. You begin to sense the emotions behind the words. Because true listening doesn't happen just with the ears, but with the heart. Silence is a mirror. It reflects the other person. Their words may be heard with such attention for the very first time. This builds mutual trust. It creates connection. It brings depth. When people speak with you, they feel, I matter to this person. They truly hear me. This forms trust in relationships, whether in family, friendship, or the workplace. Sometimes a friend just needs to say, please, just listen to me. And when you choose to listen instead of talk, you can often fix many things without saying a single word. Let's not forget, everyone wants to talk, but few are willing to truly listen. If you can listen, you are one of the few. Silence gives you that power. First you try to understand, then you appreciate, and only then, if necessary, you speak. This sequence doesn't just make you wise, it makes you appear deeply wise. For the Stoics, listening was also a sign of calmness and deep thought. They wouldn't interrupt others or leave their thoughts unfinished. Because they knew understanding a person is more important than responding to them. Silence is the first step on the path to understanding. It doesn't say express yourself. It says understand the other. And that transforms you into a richer, deeper, more empathetic person. The more you listen, the more you learn. The more you listen, the more you change. The more you listen, the more you grow. Take Albert Einstein, for example, one of the most famous physicists in history. He didn't develop his theories and ideas through experience and observation alone. He was also a listener. Einstein often said, "The mark of true intelligence is the ability to listen to others and consider their views." Even in his writings, he always built new theories by taking others' ideas into account. His silent moments where he would listen and discuss thoughtfully made him one of the deepest thinkers in the world. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in his life came during times when he attentively listened to the contributions of others. Or take US President Abraham Lincoln, who led his country through crises. He considered silence and listening among his greatest tools. Even in the hardest times, Lincoln made time to listen to those around him. He was extremely attentive when it came to holding meetings and hearing different opinions before making decisions. He once said, "Listening carefully to others enriches your own thinking and helps you make the right decision." Lincoln's leadership approach reflected not only his wisdom, but also his sensitivity and empathy. He always chose to listen first and speak with thoughtfulness later. Our modern world is chaotic, complex, and noisy. Every day we face new pressures, new worries, and new uncertainties. People's expectations, daily tasks, social relationships, the media, and environmental influences. All of these can confuse, exhaust, and stress us out. In such a time, protecting your inner silence is a form of heroism. But if you have silence within you, then nothing can truly disturb you. This silence is a doorway to find yourself, even in a world that tries to drown you out. Silence isn't just the absence of noise in your surroundings or your mind. It's a kind of spiritual breath. Silence allows you to discover your true self. It builds a bridge between your thoughts, emotions, and feelings. And through that bridge, you find deeper peace. This inner stillness helps you feel life more deeply and move through it in a way that aligns with its natural flow. Silence gives you calm, comfort, and balance, because you no longer react to the pressures and small irritations of others. Life's challenges and the chaos around you begin to affect you less. This inner silence gives you strength because you're no longer reacting to the instability and chaos outside. A person's greatest strength is to preserve their inner peace. This strength allows you to stand firm and stay on course, no matter how strong the external storms may be. If there is peace within you, the storms outside can't touch you. No matter how anxious, angry, or restless others may be, you can remain calm and accept everything just as it is. Understanding the flow of life and moving in harmony with it is essential. Sometimes the best decisions are made in silence. Making rushed emotional choices rarely leads to the right outcomes. But with inner stillness, when your thoughts are gathered, you can make better, healthier decisions. This silence is not just about relieving stress. It also allows you to clearly see your inner needs, desires, and goals. In silence, you become closer to yourself. Imagine all the noise and inner tensions disappearing. Then, within just a few minutes, you can see how simple and beautiful life truly is. Silence increases self-confidence and helps you see every situation more clearly and more healthily. With the power of this inner peace and clarity, a person can not only benefit themselves, but also be more helpful to others. Because someone who can protect their inner peace can listen to others with understanding, guide them, and calmly offer solutions, even in unstable situations. Silence is not just a tool, it's a way of life. It must always live within you, because it gives you strength both spiritually and physically, and it reminds you of the most important things in life: balance, calmness, and inner peace. Silence is not simply the absence of sound. It is a state that brings depth to the soul, clarity to the mind, and calmness to the heart. We are born into noise, but we grow deeper through silence. In the chaos of life's current, Silence is like an inner harbor. No matter how strong the storm is, this harbor remains calm. Talking too much has become a habit. Everyone speaks, everyone shares opinions, but few truly think. And to think, the first condition is to be silent. Because silence is not just the muting of the external world, it is the awakening of the internal one. What do silent moments reveal to you? Who you are, what you truly want, which path you should take in life. These moments may not bring answers, but they reveal the most important questions, the kind of questions you need courage to ask to change your life. Have you ever noticed? You made your most important decisions when you were calm. The greatest inspiration often comes in a moment of silence, in the quiet of night, the stillness of nature when sitting alone in thought. These moments are no coincidence. They are life's invitation to face yourself. Silence is also a manifestation of strength. When someone disrespects you and you stay silent, that is not weakness. It is a sign of your composure, self-control, and inner power. Sometimes, a glance or a moment of silence can have a greater impact than 1,000 words. Great leaders, philosophers, and scholars, they all valued silence because they knew real clarity is not born in noise but in stillness. The brightest ideas emerge in solitude. The most precise decisions arise from silence. If everything in your life feels chaotic, if you don't know what to do, if you feel helpless and tired, then be silent. Step back a little. Listen to the silence. Perhaps your greatest turning point will begin at that very moment. Remember, silence opens the door to thought. Silence introduces you to your own strength. And silence is the only moment where you can truly hear the fire burning inside you. Speaking helps you understand others, but silence helps you understand yourself. For the Stoics, silence was not just about being quiet, it was a path towards self-discipline, inner order, and a deeper understanding of life. They understood that every time a person speaks, they give away some of their energy. Every reaction costs a part of the self, but silence is like a breath that restores the soul. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the benefits of silence in his journal. He said, "To focus on the outside world without observing, the inner one is like searching for a path in a dark room." For him, silence was the key to that inner world. Even as an emperor, he made time for silence each day, because he knew only in silence can a person make truly wise decisions. Silent moments reveal the real me hidden behind pride, ego, and emotions. Epictetus equated silence with self-control. He said, "If you respond to every word, if you react to every idea, then too many things have power over you." To be silent is not to surrender, it is to take control of yourself, your emotions, the situation. Everyone speaks, but not everyone has control. For the Stoics, silence was a sign of emotional maturity. Speaking is easy, but staying silent takes courage. Seneca once said, "Silence is not something to be feared. It is not an empty space where the weak retreat, but a path chosen by the strong." For him, silence was not just a pause. It was the beginning of inner transformation and self-discovery. Only when a person retreats into silence can they truly see what matters most in life. Silence separates us from the surrounding noise and leaves us alone with ourselves. Life bombards us with noise every day. Social media, news, people, daily concerns. All of this noise creates chaos within us. Thoughts become tangled, emotions spin out of control, and decisions are made in haste. But silence, it's like a magic spell that quiets the chaos. In silence, a person meets themselves. Sometimes this meeting can be difficult, even frightening, because silence brings out the secrets, fears, desires, and true wishes hidden deep within us. But this is also a kind of freedom, the freedom to see yourself. And without this freedom, no true growth is possible. Until a person makes peace with themselves, they cannot find peace in life. Until they hear their own voice, they cannot truly understand another. And silence is the first step toward that peace. That's why sometimes the most truthful word is the one left unspoken. Sometimes the strongest reaction is no reaction at all. And sometimes The greatest transformation begins with a single silent moment. Thank you all for watching until the end. If you liked the video and found it helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next videos. Take care.